Hello, Phantom fans, and welcome into another episode of Ghost Stories presented by our friends at Dunkin. I'm Voice of the Phantoms, Matt Lipsack, and I am joined by a young man who was the captain of the Merrimack College Warriors. This upcoming season, he'll be skating for the Miami University Redhawks. He was the G that brought the grease in the BGR line from 2018, then took the Phantoms all the way to the Clark Cup final, 63 points in 115 USHL games. The only player in Phantoms history to score 4 goals in a playoff game, the pride of Powell, Ohio, Chase Gresock. Chase, how are you, my friend?
Good, you. Thanks for having me.
I'm great, man. So, last time I looked, you were a Merrimack Warrior, and then all of a sudden, you're skating for Miami University in Ohio. What's going on, man?
Yeah, so it was kind of a late decision. At Merrimack, our season ended on a positive test of COVID. So we were out for a couple of weeks away from school. And then we came back, and then I tested positive. So I was away from school. So it was a little while after the season when I decided I was going to go in the portal. And then it was just the fact that I wanted to be closer to home. My parents could be a part of my senior season. They had only been able to see one game in 3 years. So obviously, being closer to home, being at Miami will be really cool for my senior season.
What are you going to be studying at Miami?
So I finished my degree at Merrimack in business
Congratulations.
management. Thank you. So I'll be doing my master's in business management here.
That's awesome. What were your favorite and least favorite classes there as you got your degree in 3 years, man? That's impressive.
Yeah. I would have to say my favorite classes were the management classes I took for my major. I took hospitality management, hotel management, which is pretty cool. Sports management, intro to business, and healthcare management was pretty cool too. My least favorite classes, hopefully my professors don't see this. Um, Probably the history class I took. I wasn't a big fan of French either. So,
Tu ne parles pas français?
nope.
Yeah, I guess, communications major here. So when I only had to take one math class the entire time I was in college, survey of math, very first semester on campus, 8 a.m. Didn't get along with me very
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, that makes me think I wasn't a huge fan of business stats either.
No, statistics. I had to take for telecommunications major, you had to take a at YSU, you had to take a market measuring class in statistics for like TV ratings and stuff like that. And just they taught you formulas, but I hadn't done any hardcore math in years. So it was just like, oh my God, what am I doing?
Yeah.
um, so you're at Miami. You told me you're housing with Matt Barry right now. How's Matt doing?
Matt's doing great. He's been here all summer training, and I wanted to come down for a couple of weeks and get a feel for the new school,
Okay.
rather than walking in blind to a new team, a new school, and new coaches. So I'm here until the end of the month, just kind of getting a feel for the school and hanging out with Matt.
I heard a rumor that Mike Regish is joining you guys in Miami. Can you confirm?
Yep, that I can confirm. Yep. He
The
he's
BGR line skating for the Redhawks. How awesome is that?
Yeah, it's awesome. We're all super pumped, and hopefully we can find that chemistry pretty quick. It's been a couple of years, but hopefully we can all play together and it'll all go good.
So, as a collegiate hockey player, what have the last 2 seasons been like? Obviously 2020 gets shut down right as the conference tournament's about to start. And then, like you mentioned, just all the COVID problems that Merrimack had this past season. What's it been like? What were your experiences?
Um, I'd probably say it's frustrating. Um, so actually, my sophomore year, 2 years ago, our season was already over, so we weren't affected by COVID. But I know a lot of teams were, and like no league tournaments, no NCAA tournament, and we felt for those guys. So that was pretty hard. But this season, we only played, I think, 16 games, so not even half a season. We practiced 4 times before our first game. I think we were shut down 3 or 4 times. Hockey East just did away with the schedule. So every Tuesday, they would just see who could play and they would make a schedule for that week. So they were going week by week. So we had games canceled the day of, the day before. We were supposed to play Lowell on Thursday. We ended up playing Northeastern on Friday. It was just crazy. So it's hard to prepare, but I mean, I guess it's a good learning experience. Don't take anything for granted.
You did get to play a couple of games against the eventual national champion UMass. Split a pair with them to open up your season. What was it like playing against the Natty champs?
Yeah, I mean, obviously UMass has done really well in the past couple of years. A lot of respect for those coaches. They get their players to buy in to what they believe in. I think that was the first weekend of the season when we split with them.
Yep.
But yeah, obviously a really good team. I'm really happy for them. Represent Hockey East really well.
You spent your entire junior hockey career in Ohio. Then you went to college in New England. Like, how different is hockey up there?
I'd say it's pretty different. Almost like Canada, you feel like everyone plays hockey. The biggest difference I would say is everyone plays for their high schools. They play prep school. We're in Ohio, you're playing AAA year round. But since so many people in the New England area play hockey, high school hockey is a really big thing up there.
Speaking of AAA hockey, what are they putting in the water in Columbus that the AAA Blue Jackets are just pumping out talent left and right, my man?
Yeah, I think it's a big help that the Blue Jackets are right there. They came in 2000, which helped hockey a lot in Columbus. Ed Ginger has done a great job with the program there too, and hopefully there's some more players that come out of Columbus soon.
We had Cole Sherwood on the show last week, and I know he was a teammate of yours for one season there with the AAA Blue Jackets. What was it like getting to skate with Cole?
Yeah, me and Cole were actually great friends. Only played together for 1 year. He was supposed to be in Youngstown, and then he he left.
Had to go
So
and sign that pro contract, right?
yeah, he left, and then I remember after I texted him congrats, and he's like, "Thanks, sorry, we can't play together again." And I was like, "It's all right, congrats though."
So speaking of Youngstown, obviously, you got to skate with the fans for a couple of seasons. Let's give a shout out to your billet families from those couple of years.
Yeah, the Churchill family, I was there for 2 years, and I just got really close to them. I wouldn't be here without them, so I can't thank them enough.
And of course, we couldn't have the Phantoms without our billets. So thank you very much, guys. Has enough time passed that you could look at film from the 2018 Clark Cup final and not be like angry about it?
Yeah, I think so. That was what, almost 3 or 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Fargo is obviously a great team, great coaching staff there. So yeah, I haven't watched it, but I don't think I'd be too upset. Maybe a little bit, but
What did Fargo do so well against your line in that series? You guys came in averaging over 3 points a game as a unit, and you got held to 4 points total in 4 games.
yeah, I think they did a really good job matching lines. They were aware when we were out there all the time. They played us hard. They knew what we like to do. 5 on 5 on the power play. They just played us the right way.
Any favorite memory from your time in Youngstown?
Yeah, kind of like we talked about the run to the Clark Cup. Um, we always talk about the Dubuque game that we won in overtime. It was just a crazy game at home. But obviously, just being with the guys, the experience, the bus trips, how miserable they were, the 18 hours, sleeping on the ground. But Those are great memories with all the guys.
And if I remember correctly, you finished off that debut game with a goal that was a hat trick, right?
Yeah, yeah, that was probably my favorite game ever. So I think Maddie had like 5 points that game. So
Sounds right. Sounds
yeah,
right.
yeah, and we were down and we kept getting penalties and it was just a crazy game.
In fact, if I recall correctly, didn't Matt score the tying goal shorthanded?
Yeah, I think it was a breakaway shorthanded, or I think
Or was that the fourth
that was
goal
the
and then
fourth,
somebody else
and
scored the
then
fifth?
Thompson and Parentino scored on the 2-on-1, if I remember
Okay.
correctly.
I remember Matt Berry scoring on a breakaway in that game because have to watch the highlights every so often for different things that we do.
Yeah.
Um, Speaking of that 17-18 team, so you mentioned those 18-hour bus rides.
Mhm.
Who was snoring the loudest on that bus?
I don't know if anybody was snoring, but guys would fight over who had the ground and who had to sleep on the chairs. So yeah, and it was my second year when we went to Fargo twice, and the older guys are usually in the back of the bus. So whenever the younger guys would have to go to the restroom, they would be stepping all over us. So we would get on them about that.
Um, who was the last guy off the ice every practice? That guy was just like, "Hey, they got to turn the lights off. Let's go."
Um, Craig Needham was always out there late. Matt Thompson was always out there shooting. Those guys are the ones that come to mind first.
Anybody always just running chronically late?
Late. Not that I can remember. Like I said, that was like almost 3 or 4 years ago, but nobody that really comes to mind.
Hey, man, that's awesome. We're trying to get some insight. What goes on inside the locker room? We're trying to let the fans in here.
Yeah, yeah,
You're
no,
um you're watching Ghost Stories with Voice of the Phantoms Matt Lipsack and Chase Gresock, who will be playing for the Miami Redhawks this year. It's all brought to you by our friends over at Dunkin. Chase, what do you think about the Stanley Cup Finals?
yeah. I mean, obviously Tampa's got it figured out. Nobody can beat them. Happy for them. Just a really good team. Hopefully, they can keep a lot of those big pieces together in Tampa and go for a three-peat.
Well, Chase, we're getting ready to wrap it up here. What are your plans for the rest of the summer? You said you're hanging out in Oxford for the rest of the month, and then come end of August, you're going to be back in school, right?
Yeah, I'm here until the end of July, like you said. Classes start here the 23rd, so we'll all be back mid-August to get things going. I'll just be back in Columbus for a couple of weeks, and I got a trip planned out to Boston again to see some friends
Okay.
before the year starts here. But we're super excited here in Oxford for this season.
Any word on the schedule yet? You guys playing Ohio State or coming this way at all?
No, we are not playing Ohio State. We were supposed to play Robert Morris, um, but so hopefully they can get everything going there again. Hopefully we can play them. We start at Fair State, and we have a home and home with Bowling Green.
All right.
So yeah,
Awesome. Well, Chase Gresock of the Miami Redhawks, thank you so much for joining us here on Ghost Stories.
yep. Thank you for having me.
Well, fans, we're going to wrap up this episode. Next week, we are trying to get Mike Regish. We've got Aiden Gallagher on the schedule, and I've been talking to former voice of the Phantoms, Everett Fitzhugh, who will be obviously the voice of the Seattle Kraken by the time we get to talk to Everett. The expansion draft will have happened, and the NHL draft will have happened, and we're going to know who's playing for the Seattle Kraken. So Everett's going to be a busy guy here for the next couple of weeks. So looking forward to all those episodes. I'm Voice of the Phantoms, Matt Lipsack. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Sound out. Fade to black.